The process of textual criticism is taking the available ancient manuscripts, whether they be in Hebrew or Greek or Aramaic, and compare them to try and determine the original reading of a certain passage. We're going to take a look at Isaiah 7 verse 14, and in the King James Version we read, "Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel." Now here is this verse from the Masoretic Hebrew text. Now the Masoretic text dates to about 1000 AD. And then here is the same passage that's found in the Isaiah scroll. The Isaiah scroll dates to between 100 BC and 70 AD. So it is about 2000 years old. And here we have the passage from the Greek Septuagint. The Greek Septuagint is a translation of the Hebrew Bible about 2000 years old. When we compare these three manuscripts, we notice some differences. In the Masoretic text, we have the word Adonai, which means my Lord, but in the Isaiah scroll, it is the Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, the Tetragrammaton, or Yahweh. In the Septuagint, we have the word Kurios. Now, Kurios means Lord. And this really doesn't help us in textual criticism because the Septuagint always translates Adonai as Kurios, and it always translates Yahweh as Kurios. The next difference is the Masoretic text has the word Ha'alma, which means the young maid or young maiden. The Isaiah scroll has the same thing, Ha'alma, meaning the young maiden. However, in the Septuagint, we have the Greek word Parthenos, which means virgin. Now, the equivalent Hebrew word would be Betula. The question here is, and which is often debated, is the original rendering of this verse Ha'alma, the young maiden, or is it Ha-Betula, the virgin? It appears that the Septuagint is possibly translating from a Hebrew text that had the word Betula rather than Alma in it. The next difference is in the Masoretic text we have Vekarat. Vekarat can either mean and she called or and you called. This conjugation can mean either or. However, in the Isaiah scroll, it's vekara. Vekara means and he called. So we can already see there's some differences here between the Masoretic text and the Isaiah scroll. Now in the Septuagint, the Greek word is kaleses. Kaleses means you called, and this is much more specific than the Masoretic text. So in the Masoretic text, it can either be you called or she called. In the Isaiah scroll, it's he called, but in the Septuagint, it's you called. Then the last word we're going to look at here in the Masoretic text is actually two words. Imanu, which is a word that means with us, and then El. El is the Hebrew word for mighty one, or we usually translate it as God. So Imanu El, with us, is God. However, the Isaiah scroll combines these two words together as one word. Now, whenever Hebrew does this, it's always a name. Whenever two words are put together, we know that that's a name. So here we have the name Immanuel, or as we normally say, Emmanuel. In the Septuagint, basically a transliteration from the Isaiah scroll, Immanuel. If we take a look at the Masoretic text and translate it literally, we have, "Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, a maiden shall conceive and bear a son, and she," or you, "will call his name Immanuel." In the Isaiah scroll, we have, therefore Yahweh himself will give you a sign. Behold, a maiden shall conceive and bear a son, and he will call his name Emmanuel. In the Septuagint we have, therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and you will call his name Emmanuel.